ejpstudiospodcast presents the Reddit Stories series. Today's episode topic: job interview fails. Accomplished Fun 408. Share your worst interview fails. Let me laugh at your pain. You know the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? Clearly, whoever came up with that never bombed an interview so hard they wanted to move to another city out of sheer embarrassment. Let me kick things off with my masterpiece of failure. My all-time worst interview moment. The interviewer asked, "Why do you want to work here?" And brimming with confidence, I replied, "Because your office is 3 subway stops from my apartment." I kid you not, silence followed. Not the reflective kind, more like the, "Did they really just say that?" kind. Then one interviewer laughed. Not a polite chuckle, but a, "This can't be real" laugh. I walked out thinking, well, I saved them the trouble of rejecting me. I did it myself. What I learned eventually? Interviews aren't just about answering questions. They're about answering them well. It's about being confident, thoughtful, and ideally, not mentioning your commute. But no one teaches us this stuff. We're all left fumbling through, hoping for a miracle, or a very understanding hiring manager. A while ago, I decided I was done with the trial and error approach. I came across AI Geometric, a platform that lets you practice answering real interview questions. What blew my mind was the instant feedback. This part was too vague, or here's how you can improve. It felt like having a coach who wasn't silently judging me, and who didn't laugh at my subway confession. After using it, I noticed a huge shift. In my next interview, I didn't freeze up, didn't ramble, and biggest win, didn't make them laugh at me, only with me. I got through it, nailed the questions, and spoiler alert, got the job. Your turn. Okay, now it's your turn to make me feel better. What's the most awkward or cringe-worthy thing you've ever said in an interview? Let's hear it. Come on, let's laugh at each other's pain and learn what not to do. Jack Hoffman had an on-site interview and was looking for a director/VP role. It was a panel interview with the people who'd be reporting to me. Someone asked me something and my reply included "and like that" or something. Apparently, that was a big no-no and the recruiter gave me a lot of about it. I was like, what the dude? You've known me for like 10 years. You could have given me a heads up. And his reply was, "What did you think I meant when I said they're a pretty uptight bunch, so be on your best behavior?" Needless to say, no offer came. Amferis 995. I think this is why I'm unfit for corporate. Lol. I can't help my F-bombs. It's just how I talk, man. I worked at a small startup and the office manager had a swear jar on her desk. I just worked out of earshot from her and never modified how I spoke. The next job was on-site at a government agency. I recall saying "damn" once and getting side-eyed by folks. I worked there for 4 or 5 years. It's funny how easy it becomes to stop when you're surrounded by people who don't swear and who also care if you do. My next job was another government contractor, but not on site. We swore a lot. It's funny how quickly it comes back to you. Spicy ceiling fan. One time, about 15 years ago, and fresh out of undergrad, I was playing around with my resume and wanted to see how a master's degree would look. So I listed a fake one. Real degree from a real university. I just didn't have said degree. Forgot to delete it. Applied to a job with that resume and they explicitly asked about the degree during the interview. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's the only reason I got the interview. Needless to say, I didn't get the job, but I do still cringe every time I think about it. Panic Pixie Meme Girl. Well, how did you respond when they asked? I admitted the truth. The degree required specialized knowledge that I couldn't have faked. Duin Dalvac. I studied Russian in college. That is on my resume. Right out of college, I was asked about that in an interview. I I spoke about, at the time, how Russian culture is interesting, etc. Wouldn't do that now as times have changed. Interviewers said, "The Soviets killed almost my entire family in Poland. Don't get that job." The same summer, I attended an interview. It was summer of '94 in NYC and horribly hot and humid. I also had poison ivy which had spread to my left cheek and chin. That and the sweat, and I looked gross. I was meeting with a Japanese firm. My father had coached me on how to politely accept their business cards, etc. I opened my leather portfolio to remove copies of my resume. And a cockroach from my apartment crawled off the resume and continued to strut down the length of the conference table we were sitting at. It felt like 5 minutes. Interviewer just stared in horror. I don't remember what happened next. I did not get the job. Waxing Crescent. This all needs to be in a Tim Burton movie. As a former hiring manager, I would have embraced every minute of this. Cupcake Fairy Dust. I know this is kind of old, but I had an awful interview experience today and I came here for laughs to not feel so down about it. I'm crying laughing at this. It's so funny now. At the time I was mortified and very itchy. Magic Mormon Undies. My own worst interview moment. One of those one-way video interviews where you read the question and have 60 seconds to come up with an answer before the video starts recording. The question was, tell us about a time when you made a mistake at work that you regretted, and how did you handle it? I went the 60 seconds legitimately having no idea how I was going to answer. When the recording started, I said, "I conduct myself in a way at work where I don't regret my actions." I felt so dumb that I couldn't think of anything. Worst moment, interviewing someone else for a management position. Mind, I asked, "Tell me about a time when you went above and beyond at work." His response, "Yeah, I don't go above and beyond." Stunned at his honesty, I said, "How would that change if you were to get this position?" Him, "It wouldn't." I stopped the interview right there and thanked him for his time. Gave him a little interview coaching with the remaining time. Contacts. Regarding your first question, isn't that a perfect response? You shouldn't feel dumb by not thinking of an example of an action that never occurred. I would respond similarly and would be proud of that answer, lol. Positive Sun 752. So you want to hear BS? I'd give them huge points for being real. Positive Sun 752. Well, like 30 years ago in my mid-20s, I managed to get an interview with community living managing special needs people. I would be leading them doing basic property maintenance. At that point, I had some extensive landscaping experience with a forestry degree. At that point in my life, I really didn't know what I wanted to do as a career. This opportunity came my way, which would have been my first salary job with benefits. Like a real grown-up kind of job. I wore my father's suit, which was a tad on the small side but still looked very sharp. I walked into the room and holy F, there were 4 people at the table. I almost crapped myself. They one by one volleyed questions that I seemed to be able to answer without difficulty. I got the vibe they really liked me, and as it boomed down, they had just one question. I noticed you've never done work with disabilities, so do you have any concerns/questions? I paused and said, well, I've never worked with people, but feel I have the qualities that would benefit them. Huge pause followed by glances and then a thanks for coming out. I called them back a couple days later to see if I got it. Nope. Someone was looking out for me because I decided to go to paramedic school a month later, and the rest is history. Western Discount 6044. I'll preface this by saying I was a teenager. I'd never had a job before and I had no time to prepare. Went into a record store, thought the guy who worked there was cute, so I asked someone else about the opening they were advertising. She handed me a form, told me to fill it in, and while I was doing that, she went and called the owner to interview me right then and there. He asked why I wanted to work there, and I couldn't actually tell him, so I shrugged and said something to the effect of, "I just do." Didn't get the job. I can't fail because I don't care. I will make my money regardless eventually, but I mess up a lot. I'm an exceptional data scientist and an okay-ish developer as well, so it's really their loss when they don't take me because I don't speak like an MBA. Many of my answers are weird and I probably fail interviews because of that. I am not ready to play the game and lie yet. Amferis995. Same here. I'd rather work on my own business/gig work. Saints, I need some of your confidence. From subway stop honesty to cockroach diplomacy, this shows that interviews are humanity's most unpredictable sport, across decades and office types. From startups with swear jars to government agencies allergic to damn. People stumble through moments that test both ego and endurance. Yet every awkward pause and accidental confession becomes a shared laugh and a quiet education. These stories are reminders that failure isn't fatal. It's formative. They also showcase how to embrace imperfection, adapt to context, and find humor in hindsight. Because the real win isn't landing the job, it's learning how to recover gracefully, grow wiser, and maybe, just maybe, check if a roach was laying eggs in your leather suit.